Thank you, everyone. I wish you could see yourselves from here. It's amazing. Thank you all for coming out on this beautiful day. I am John Dickerson, and I am running for the United States Senate. Thank you. When I'm asked, why are you running? It's to bring this voice to the political discussion. As Kathy said, I've been honored to work with a number of wonderful people. And I've learned and demonstrated that we can change, and we can change government to change lives. We've done that. We've done that together. It's been with elected leaders, but with people like you in the community that have set a course and then kept working on it to make a difference for folks. And we've done that in Indiana. You know, it's an improbable story that I'm here before you today, because I was born on a reservation in South Dakota in a very unusual circumstances, an Irish Catholic mother, a Welsh father who was divorced, and I see a classmate here from Sisseton, South Dakota, where I was born. In the middle of this incredible community where economic opportunity had passed so many people by. At 11 years old, I lost my mother and my brother's wife in a car accident. And my dad couldn't afford for us to live in our own family house that my grandfather had built. So I had to move in with my stepsister in a tiny little house, share a bedroom and a bed with my nephew who was a year older than me. That was a little confusing. But we got through it. And I was able to use football in this little tiny high school to go to a liberal arts college in South Dakota and get a great education. And it was at that small college that I met my wife of 33 years, Sonia. And it was a football coach who was also a professor of education, one of the first in the state, in the country, to study special education, that pointed me towards the art, because I hadn't decided what I was going to do yet. Thought I'd be a teacher, and like a lot of folks that couldn't find a job teaching, if we couldn't find a job, we'd go look to graduate school. But I got pointed to the arc, and I found this amazing calling in people that believed we could still change the world. Families coming together, and for some you may not remember that in 1973, kids with disabilities couldn't go to school with their brother and sister. That wasn't a reality till 1975. Imagine today if you were told your child, young John in the back of the room there, couldn't go to school with his brothers and sisters because he had Down syndrome. We have changed the world. We have a lot of work to do. So when we start talking about where we go from here and why the Senate, I believe I bring this spirit of optimism and change and a voice that looks at how we bring people together, incredibly diverse communities, to look at how we change and make things happen. And change that'll run all the way from the Senate and the House of Representatives to the White House, down to your house. Thank you. And during those 40 years, I've honed some skills and learned from some wonderful people about how do we do that, and learned what's important. We've got to make tough choices. We've got to live within some fiscal restraints, but we can use data, we can use information to put our resources into things that work and move them from things that don't work. And then when we make strategic investments, we know where we're going. And we have some very important challenges to make. As we look at our infrastructure, I got a text from one of my dear friends that's on her way that's stuck on I-65. That it's great that we're expanding and building I-69, but if we have a bridge falling down on I-65, we need an infrastructure bill that puts Hoosiers to work building things again, instead of ignoring it. We had two really dramatic stories this year in our schools. One, Matt Tully wrote a powerful story about the interventions in one of our schools with one little boy. We passed No Child Left Behind in 2001. Those kind of interventions that he talked about in 2001 were supposed to be part of No Child Left Behind. We were to fund interventions when children did not make the grade. Well, we implemented the testing and going for accountability, but we never helped schools with the resources to intervene and do the things. When Ted Kennedy made the deal with President Bush, we were to fund summer school for kids that were struggling. We didn't do that. We have to live up to our promises of what we do. I've also learned in these 40 years some core beliefs that I carry with me from people that I trust and love and I've learned from. Too often, we are dividing ourselves by how we look, who we love, and it is wrong. We have to fight for racial and income equality. We have to protect the rights of people to love and live and marry with whoever they choose, not some committee somewhere in the legislature. And we've got to make sure as we move forward, we protect the rights of women to make the choices they feel are right for them and get the health care that they support. Thank you. And I fully understand that there are always alternate voices. There are other opinions. And I've learned from those folks. I've learned that we need to understand and listen. But at the same time, we need to find those areas where we can work together. You know, it is not business versus the environment. It is about planning for the future of our environment and taking care of it while still supporting an enterprising and dynamic economy. Yes, thank you. A great friend I see in the back taught me 20 years ago to start reading the business pages. If we are going to have great schools, a good environment that we take care of, and great public services for folks, we've got to have a strong and vibrant economy. We've got to have that. So it's not an either or. It's how do we work together? And we have to pay attention to a world that's vastly changing. If you followed in the Star and other sources as we look at, the GDP in Russia dropped by 5% last quarter. That's a scary thought when we see one country changing so much, and what does that mean for all of us? So we have many, many challenges. What I believe I bring to this process is a sense of optimism, a knowledge of how do we change things, and the great passion to make that possible. It is not easy. As I said, it's improbable that I'm here before you. But I look across this room and I see faces that represent the diversity of Indiana. You look like Indiana. We are one Indiana. We're all different. We bring to it different skills. We bring different political backgrounds. I'm honored to have a number of friends here that come from the other side of the aisle that are excited for what we're doing. And I appreciate that so much. We're going to have a positive campaign. We're going to have a campaign that focuses on how we make things better for all Hoosiers. And we will make that happen. I want to thank you. I've got to thank some wonderful people that are here. Kathy has been a dear friend. It scared me to death when she moved as budget director over to Family and Social Services Administration, but she was the best one we've ever had. We couldn't do it without my friends and so many folks, my neighbors of 33 years, Harry and Betty McFarland, you know, that he left our neighborhood, went to Atlanta, came back and bought his old house back. We are a diverse community, but there's room for all of us, and we need all of us as we move forward. It is what we are. I want to be your senator. I want to take your attitude of working together to Washington, and we'll make a difference. We have some young people. Their very first election will be November 2016. I'm honored they're here, and I'm asking for their vote along with everybody else to make a difference. God bless, and I want to thank my family, my son Bryce, I'm just so proud of you, my daughter Keitha. I first went to them, asked their support. Anna, and Bryce's wife Andrea's daughter Anna is here. And I'm proud to say, come on up here, young lady. My grandson Kellen is running around here somewhere causing mayhem, I'm sure. There he is in the back. Yeah! So we're blessed in many ways. And when I look at grandchildren and your children, grandchildren and great-grandchildren, it's why we're doing this. Because it is so important, the stakes are so high, and yet the opportunity is right there for us to make it better. Thank you all for coming. God bless. I can't believe it.